Hi everyone, welcome to the Coding Zoo. If this is your first time joining, my name is Shane. This is the Coding Zoo JavaScript building blocks series where we learn how to program in JavaScript together. If you're new to the Coding Zoo, my children and I invented the Coding Zoo for us to learn how to program in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and we thought, hey, it'd be a great idea to include other people and bring you guys along. So I hope you enjoy the video series. In today's lesson, we're going to cover how to create comments in your code in JavaScript. Before we get started, if you haven't checked out the codingzoo.com website, thecodingzoo.com, all one word, go ahead and do so after the video. We have study notes for each video, and sometimes we have quizzes to go along with the video also. If you're ready to get started, let's do it. All right, as usual, I have the index.html file open from my first lesson. You don't have to use this file. You can open up your browser to any location. We're just going to use the development console. I would recommend you use the file if you have it, if you've done that lesson already. It just gives you a nice, clean, white window. Let's go ahead and press Control-Shift-J to go to the console. If you're using another browser besides Google Chrome, you want to Google how to get to your development console for that particular browser type. All right, so how do you create comments? And why would you? As you get into writing bigger applications, the code can get pretty complex and harder to understand. There are a lot of clean coding habits you want to follow, like making your variables have meaning, really descriptive variables and function names and class names. And we'll go over those things later. You want them to have meaning. Sometimes the code is just so hard to understand, though, just giving it a meaningful name isn't enough, and you might want to add comments, basically information, text to let the next person who programs in that piece of code, or to remind yourself later, what's that piece of code doing. We'll go over two ways to make comments in your code. Of course, when you're working in a console, there's no need for comments really, but as you get into coding your application in the files and creating more complex applications, there's a need for it. I would always recommend to just try not to use comments unless you have to. Usually you can use descriptive variable names, class names, function names to kind of self-describe your code. But occasionally you need to use a comment, and definitely should do so. So I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to create a string variable here called binary. It's going to be a variable called binary. It's going to contain a string in it. That string is going to represent binary numbers. Let's say I'm writing a web page that talks about binary numbers, and I want to print the words binary on the screen. I use a variable for that. Okay, so let's type my comment. Forward slash, that's two forward slashes to the right, slash leaning towards the right. That's how you do a single line comment. This constant will represent the binary number for 0. I'm going to press Shift Enter so it doesn't execute. I'm going to create a constant. Binary equals 0, 0, 0, 0. In my string with apostrophe, semicolon. Shift Enter, console.log binary. Okay, press Enter instead of Shift Enter to go ahead and execute the code. You should see this printed out on the screen. That comment, of course, will not do anything. It's meant to be there for the developer when you come back, if you've forgotten what this is used for, or for the next developer who may not be familiar with the code. It helps them understand the code so they know what you're doing in the code. Press Enter. There you go. It printed out my string. That's it. That's a single line comment. Let's do a multiple line comment. I'm going to write something out to this HTML page. I'm going to do that using the HTML DOM. So the HTML document. I'm going to talk to the DOM itself. Document dot write parenthesis single quote Shane is here in that string in the parentheses semicolon. Press Enter. And look what was written on the screen. So I actually wrote to the HTML document. Now, if I do that again, I'm going to press up, do it again. Oh, it added again. Check it out. Okay, I'm going to bring that same line up by pressing the up arrow key. I'm going to comment out this line though. So I'm going to do /, and I'm going to use multiple lines to comment it out. The asterisk, which is Shift-8, space, Shift-Enter, Shift-Enter. I moved up to the top there. My code commented out. Go here, Shift-Enter, asterisk, /, leaning towards the right. And I'm going to go ahead and press Enter to execute this code. If I created this comment correctly, it should do nothing. It should not write to the actual document there. We have Shane is here twice. We should not see a third one. There you go. So I actually commented out that piece of code. This is a multi-line comment. I do not recommend you comment out code this way. That's usually not a good thing to do. It ends up cluttering your code up. You forget to go back and delete it. It's not a good thing. So multi-line comments are usually used if you want to describe a function or an object, or if you just have a lot to say about a particular piece of code. You use a multi-line comment so you can type it on more than one line. Single line comment, you can type on a single line comment for long ways, but you usually don't want to. You only want to comment out so far, right? You don't want to just keep typing and keep typing and keep typing until it's way out there. It's hard to read. You want to use a multi-line and write a paragraph, basically. So that's it. That's how you create comments in JavaScript. Very simple. You have a single line, which is 2 / to the right. You have a multi-line, which starts with a / asterisk space and ends with space asterisk /. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, please click the like button below. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. We have 4 or 5 different playlists at the Coding Zoo. I'm sure you would enjoy all of them. If you'd like to know when a new video comes out after you click subscribe, click the bell icon. Leave me a comment below if you have any input on how we can improve the videos for you, or if you just have any questions about today's lesson, leave a comment below. So a question for you, leave a comment below to answer. Why do you think it is better to write code that's self-descriptive? In other words, you have object names, function names, and variable names that kind of have meaning, that are self-described. Why is that better than actually writing a comment above each piece of code? I'd love to hear your input on that, and I'll give you mine. Again, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.